Welcome back to the Eight Man Breakdowns podcast. This is where we discuss all phases of the game of football, including philosophy, play concepts, questions, and more. The topic today is actually a question that was emailed to me from another coach. And the email says, "Hey, coach, what is the first thing that you look at when scouting an upcoming opponent?" All right, so first off, thank you for sending in a question, and that is a great question. So let me get into my answer here. So my simplified answer for this would be the first thing I look at when scouting upcoming opponent is just studying their offense, like really breaking it down and studying their offense. And the reason for that is I've always somewhat agreed with the defense wins championships quote, and our coach back when I was in high school kind of also agreed with that. And we were really intense and focused always on the defensive side. And our offense was pretty simple anyway. But that's kind of my simplified answer is I focus on the offense and really break it down. But let me give you a little more detailed answer. So what I do is first really break into studying the other team's offense. And so I'll kind of talk about just my game plan or scouting plan every Saturday and Sunday when I first get the opposing team's film. And so I don't know how it works in other states, but in Kansas, most consistently, usually you trade film with your opponent late night following the game. You upload your film and then you send a request exchange out and say, "Hey, coach, you want to trade your last two films or your last film or whatever, depending on what's more common for that coach." A lot of times it is the last two films. So once we get that, my first step is I ODK the entire film. Okay, so I just ODK it, fly through it really fast, ODK, and then the S as well for extra points. And then I literally push full screen, turn the loop play off, and I watch the whole film, one play at a time. I'll write down small little notes as I watch it, but I'm watching that first full time through to really see what stands out. All right. As a fan or a spectator of the game, what do I see that pops off the screen first? Okay. And so I'll take some notes down and write, all right, play 50. That kid can really run, or that kid is their best blocker, or dang, that's a nice play. Or, whatever they're if I start to see they're running toss or whatever concept they're running consistently, I might even make a note of that. All right, there it looks like I've seen them run that play multiple times. So I take little notes while I watch the full game all the way through and not replaying anything. Literally watching it all the way through, making a note as I see it immediately, and then moving on. Then what I'll do is when I really begin my scouting of their offense is sort by offense, sort it by O and S, and then put in what I call each formation. And what I mean by that is eight-man coaches call different formations different things. And I think it's much simpler when you're using huddle to have a one-word call for every formation. Okay, so similar to 11 man, like you got ace, you got trips, you got empty, you got doubles, whatever the case is. It makes way more sense to continue to call formations that one word and just add a strong side left or right to it. That way, when you're trying to see how much they run this formation, you're not calling it trips left and you see they ran trips left 3 times, and then you call a different formation trips right, and you see they ran trips right 5 times. No, you just put it all as trips, and they ran trips 8 times. So that's a huge thing that I've seen other coaches do, that where they get way too detailed in calling the formation. They get a little carried away. And I know some people are new to huddle, and huddle is changing consistently and has changed a lot. And so maybe they don't always know that. But that's a tip for coaches is try to keep your formation calls when you're scouting opponents. Keep it to one word, maybe two tops. Okay, and try to keep it consistent. That way you can really dig in and find tendencies. Like this is their favorite formation, or this is their favorite play out of this formation, or when they motion, that's the play they run, or whatever. Okay, so that's what I do is I sort by O and S, and I go through all the formations, and then I sort by formations, and I start entering in the play concepts. And then also when I'm doing play concepts, I add direction, left and right. I add yardage gained. I add play type, pass or run. And then at the very end, I'll go back and add a column called efficiency. And basically what that is my opinion. If they gained 3 yards or more, I consider that a somewhat of an efficient play. Okay, because do the math. If you get 3 yards every play, you get a first down. So even though that would be a low efficiency, but I still count it as an efficiency. So anytime that way, I'll see the really big plays, or their most efficient plays. And then I also, once again, sort by yardage gained, and you can see the big explosive plays, whatever the case is there. And so that's kind of how I scout an upcoming opponent is I start obviously with their offense, and then I'll work on to defense. But defense in 8-man football is very similar to scouting a basketball team's defense. Okay, you'll see that they might have two defenses, or they change coverage a little bit. So you might change a zone defense in basketball or whatever. But you really don't have to watch a lot of their defense to pick up on what you think their defense is going to be. And then, of course, me being an offensive coordinator, I have all of my concepts and plays put in prior to the week, but based off of what coverage we think we're going to see most, we'll probably rep that the most, but then we'll have a backup plan if they switch coverages or if they go man or if they bring a heavy blitz, that way we can change things up and be prepared. But a great question, and I might have went into too much detail of kind of how I go through my scouting process each week. But as soon as I get that film, that's what I'm doing. I'm ODKing, and then I'm watching it all the way through, taking minor notes on a notepad while I watch it. Then I sort by O and S and put all the formation names in and all the play concept names in and all the direction left to right, yards gained, play type, efficiency, and strong side even sometimes. And that's just kind of how I do it. And I know some people use the Huddle Assist program and can pay for that, but I'm not at a school where it's just not worth it. So I'm at a school, and I've never actually every 8-man school I've been at, it's the enrollment's low. The overall budget for the school isn't extremely high and not something that I've ever thought about trying to ask as far as purchasing or using Huddle Assist when I can take the time and do it my own way. And I've really figured out a consistent method of what I like to do, and it's effective for me, so that's just kind of how I do it. And that is a great question. And that is how I scout upcoming opponents. So the first thing that I look at is ODK, and I just watch the whole game, watch it all the way through as a spectator, see what pops off the screen. So like I said, I probably went way into detail, really diving deep into answering the question, but the first thing is what pops off the screen as I watch it as a spectator all the way through. And that's going to do it for this episode of the 8-Man Breakdowns podcast. Remember, videos come out every Tuesday night, so be sure to tune in. If you have a question for me, the best way to reach me is by commenting in the comment section below. If you've learned anything or enjoyed any of these videos, please click subscribe and check out some of my other videos right here on the screen. And like always, thanks for tuning in, guys.